Well, hello and welcome to our candidate conversations. We have Jeremy Day here with us, who's running for County Clerk. And that's right, right?
Yeah, you got it right.
Okay, good deal.
There you go.
And just as a reminder, we are here at New Hope Fellowship. My name is Pastor Daniel, and we are offering this as a service to the community. We are not necessarily supporting or promoting any particular candidate, but we just want to have an opportunity to get to know them better and for you as a community to do that as well. So with that in mind, Jeremy, go ahead and tell us a little bit about your family and your background.
Okay. Well, I lived here in Jefferson County since about 2002. I married my wife in 2005 and have two children. One of them is 13 years old. He's my youngest son. Well, he's my only son. And then obviously I have a 15-year-old daughter. One of them attends Seckman High School. The other one attends Antonia Middle School. So, new and exciting experiences come for the family. But I graduated from Eureka High School in 1995. It seems like a long time ago. Especially folks on this side of the county would be more familiar with Eureka graduates. I live on the other side of the county of Imperial, and it's basically folks who went to Northwest and Fox and stuff like that. So Jefferson County is an interesting place when it comes to those kind of, it's almost you have a bunch of small towns, kind of conglomerated together and everything. After high school, I went in the U.S. Navy. Served in the U.S. Navy from 1995 to 2000. Did two deployments in the Persian Gulf, and we also participated in sorties for Operation Desert Fox. I believe, if I remember, that was 1999, and that's our job was to take out surface-to-air missile sites over in Iraqi space. And so, you get to see a little action. It was to actually see what the cost of war is on both sides. The injuries that you get, the lives that are lost, and stuff like that. And you actually see that stuff on tape after the fact. It kind of puts a whole different perspective, and I would say generally your overall demeanor and how you look at life and death in some ways. Then after that, I guess the only thing I could say is I actually started getting into politics itself in 2014 when I actually decided to run for clerk. In the meantime, obviously, you have a career that, you've already been engaged with. I've been actually doing appliance repair for over 22 years. So a mix of politics and appliance repair may necessarily seem like it's going together, in some ways. But what it does do is it brings a whole new perspective on how you look at things. When you're troubleshooting stuff, you see other things that other people may not see. It's just sometimes you have the trained eye or the trained ear, or the logic of a situation. Basically determines how you're going to go about fixing this or improving that. So, just a brief spot about myself. That's about the best without getting all the organizations that I belong to and stuff like that. If you have any more questions, just like I said, there's a bunch of organizations that I belong to and work with and stuff like that.
Sure. So. And tell me, what does the role of county clerk do?
The role of county clerk is first and foremost is about elections. That is one half of the House. And that is running all your elections inside Jefferson County, whether it's your fire, whether it's your ambulance, whether it's 911, whether it's your school board. Any of those races are all performed and operated by the county clerk's office, responsible for getting your obviously all your poll workers and your election judges and everything that has to do with what you do on come August 2nd. Or we're coming in November, when we have our big elections and everything. The other half of the House is you actually have your administrative responsibilities, which is issuing liquor licenses and solid waste licenses, dealing with your notaries, which a lot of folks are very familiar with. Also, you publish the existing tax rates for political subdivisions in the county. You collect mean, obviously you collect meeting minutes from boards from around the county. So all sorts of different facets that is done at the clerk's office. And obviously, somebody's got to do that work. And the good thing about it, especially in Jefferson County, is it's an elected position. Means it's a leadership position. And that's generally what we want, when it comes to those kind of offices.
Sure. And are you on your own in that office, or is there a team for the county clerk?
No. There's a team that's in there. There's a team of more than 10 people that are in the office, and everybody has their different divisions that they work with.
Sure.
Ones that generally deal with elections and stuff like that. Obviously, one thing that you would like in an office, and we'll see here hopefully very shortly, where other people in the office can, if I put it this way correctly, they not necessarily saying cross-training, but, have the ability to, cover one's shift, or, that way one person that is not one person that is missing does not completely, stop the machine.
Sure.
And so you definitely, that's one thing you got to have in the office. And, like I said, we're going to find out shortly. I do know some people in the office, and, they do a fine job. And, obviously a good staff makes, a good leader looks good too.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And so I do want to get into some of the questions that we sent to you. Specifically, I've asked this to the candidates we've had in so far, and I love this question because I think it applies to so many different roles. But describe an instance where you faced an ethical dilemma and how you resolved it.
An ethical dilemma. Okay, well,
And it can be personal or professional.
Oh, yeah. It could be personal or professional. I would say something that was very ethical is when you're a professional and you're in somebody's home, the one thing that you do not want to do is you don't want to disturb their normal life and their normal lifestyle and stuff like that. And there was a time where I did go into a home, and there was a young lady there that was, she looked like she was hurt. And I said, what is that? It makes no sense whatsoever. And sometimes when you go into a home where, there is, discourage or sorrow or something like that, they talk. They let you know what the situation is. And come to find out, her cousin, turned around and threw her down a set of stairs. And here I am as a technician, wanting to, well, I shouldn't get involved with this, or anything to that degree. And morally and ethically, I just, typically you're not supposed to do those things, but I had to go ahead and call the police department and let them know there's something wrong here. Somebody got abused in this house. And like I said, you don't want to cross those lines too often, but it is. You got to take care of people.
Sure.
For one, and I can come up with an instance, when it comes to political wise too. Political wise, sometimes you will have other organizations that you're not supposed to be working with, and they know this, and they'll send you things to say, hey, can I get your approval for this, for a picture or something? It's like, no, you can't talk to me. You got to let and that's a lot of things. A lot of these political organizations, they will go ahead and they will try to get you involved, to help them with some of their decisions, and you cannot do that.
Sure.
So I don't know. I encourage all candidates to, you got to push back on that stuff. You have to. So.
That's good. That's good. I want to read through. What or who are the major influences in your life?
Major influences in my life. I would say that I did have. I have a father that was, that's really strong whenever I needed it, especially growing up, in a single parent household and everything. We all have our circumstances and we all have our personal relationships, or at least folks have personal relationships that, that it may or may not work out. But when it comes to your kids, when it's time to really, put the screws and say, hey, you need to get yourself on track. You got to learn to do better. A lot of that, was my father. My mother is one of the most loving people that I know, and she would do anything for anybody. And so, luckily, if you get, even with them, being separated for all those years, you get that from both sides,
Sure.
and you get to equal out all that balance that you need in your life, and then obviously, most of all is God. That's the biggest thing, in your life that is above your parents, above yourself. It's above your wife, above your children, because, that is what is going to decide, where your role is. And I will say this is how important it was. In 2014, when I decided to get involved, I used to like to hang out with my friends all the time, which I still do, but it was one of those things where somebody approached me and said, hey, you need to go ahead and you need to start getting involved. Let's quit talking about it, and let's just actually do it. Let's not go in the backyard and fix all the world's problems. Let's figure out how we can get involved. And I just kind of looked at these two people, and I said, okay, you're nuts. I'm just a guy. That's it. I'm an appliance repairman. That's my profession. What am I going to contribute, to this? And it was God that tapped me on the shoulder, and I want to say a little bit, it became more of a big, huge knock on the shoulder.
Yeah.
But that said, no, this is it. This is what is destined for you. And ever since then, and you listen when God does that to you, and it makes a huge difference in your life of making sure you're going down the right path.
Sure.
So.
Okay, that's good. What would you say? Actually, I want to do this one.
Yeah.
What kind of jobs, interests, or volunteer activities have you pursued throughout your lifetime?
Well, I am a part of the American Legion, and as well as a lot of people know what the American Legion, is we work with veterans. We don't just house veterans. We just don't give them a club room to be in. We do things to get involved with the community. We do Christmas baskets, for needy families. If there's a veteran out there that doesn't have transportation or is having trouble with bills and stuff like that, we go in and we help provide it. We do all the fundraisers just to do that for the community, and not just only veterans, but like I said, we do it for families who need it in the community and stuff like that. So that's one thing I love about the American Legion. You reach out to everybody, and it doesn't matter necessarily who it is. It does, yeah. It gets our eye, it catches our eye faster if you're a veteran.
Sure.
But at the same time, people look at us as a community organizing, part of the. I don't know what the best way to put it is, but community involved private society. So.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming out, and I do want to have some lightning round questions, which are they may be more difficult, but they're fun.
Okay.
Okay?
Let's go.
So you said you have 2 kids.
Yes.
A daughter and a son, and your son is actually sitting right behind me, so which is your favorite? I'm kidding. No, let's go through some of what is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, I'm going to say right now, it's Top Gun.
Top Gun, the new one or the old one?
I'm a little more old school.
Yeah. Okay.
I like the flight deck scenes because that's where I was when I was in the Navy.
Yeah. Was it pretty accurate?
You know what? I mean, if you want to go by the actual storyline, it's very much accurate. But if you just go by the flight deck scenes alone, it is controlled chaos, just like what you see.
Okay.
It is.
Okay. Good deal. If you could go back and talk to your 13-year-old self, what would you tell him?
If I had to go back to my 13-year-old self, get better grades in school.
Get better grades in
Get
school.
better grades in school.
Okay. If you were having me over for dinner, not that I'm inviting myself, but no, if you were having me over for dinner,
Anytime.
what would you make to impress me?
I'd make you something I like too, so
Yeah.
probably ribs.
Okay, all right. I like. Somebody earlier said brisket, and so
Brisket?
yeah, and so
Well, you're going to be there for a long time.
yeah,
That's for
that's
sure.
what he said. He said if I had time. All modesty aside, what is something that you are better at than 90% of people? Doesn't have to be serious.
Make a decision and sticking with it and being confident about it.
Okay.
I'm very much assured of that.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. If we're going to do this, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And we're going to see it through.
Yeah. Do you
And-
think that confidence is something you got from being in the military? Or is it something a little more innate?
Confidence, yes. Yeah, absolutely. When I was a younger kid, when I was in high school, with being a shorter kid and stuff like that, yeah, you would get picked on a little bit and you'd make yourself unsure. But, when you can put yourself through all sorts of different life situations, experience builds confidence too.
Sure.
At the same time. And so, but yeah, I would say that would be my number one trait that you could always find from me.
Okay. Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I do want to be aware of your time. So thank you so much for coming out. And do you have anything else you'd like to say to people who are watching?
I would just say, August 2nd is an important election. In Jefferson County right now, there are mostly, unfortunately, there's only basically Republican candidates on for the most part. Do your homework, watch your videos, and for the most part, show up. That's, you get the government, you deserve, not the one that you wish for. And so, let's get out there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming in today.
All right. Well, thank you.